Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's K Rad here. I'm back with a quick little live stream. Just watched Clarissa Shields give a good, I would say B plus, A minus performance against Mary Eve DeCare. She beat her. Obviously, I would say probably 9 rounds to one, or just 10 rounds all flat. Uh, she did her thing. She's now two division, undisputed champion of the world. Yeah, with less than 20 fights, as I pretty much predicted from the very beginning, that she is going to walk right through Mary. I wasn't really expecting too much out of the Mary girl because I really thought like she wasn't that good to begin with. And I hold no punches to Mary. Like I do think that there's some women out there that do got good skill, but at the level of what we could say that what certain women like her bring to the table compared to Clarissa Shields, I would say no. This is why women's boxing needs to be fixed immediately, and there's a lot of stuff I need to talk about in this live stream that really makes me disappointed. And I know it's probably going to get a couple fans angry, but I just don't think the Clarissa Shields fight was not worth the pay per view money. See, I'm a very attracted guy to sports, or I'm heavily attracted to sports, but I dive so deep into the economic benefits of what sports can bring. And as I review this in the most not like non-discreet and impartial manner, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I don't think that this whole pay-per-view event was really like worth paying for it because one, Clarissa Shields, yes, she does have, I would say, the most money made as far as being like the, I guess you would say maybe the bigger draw and getting paid maybe the most. Actually, no, I don't even know if that's even true either because Katie Taylor, she gets paid at least like a million, yeah, a million plus. So I mean, with Clarissa, she's not even that big of a draw if we're actually looking at it from that standard. But you know, I'll just play devil's advocate, or I'll give Clarissa the benefit of the doubt that um she could be the bigger draw over Katie Taylor, and she is making that type of money. But when you compare it to her opponent, how is Mary deserving any pay per view money or any cut from that type of, I would say, performance? But on top of that, how does that sell the fight to the fans? Because when you see an Errol Spence versus Sean Porter, you know who those two guys are. But when you're seeing Clarissa fight Mary, you don't know who that person is, but you do know who this woman is. So that's really where the big cutoff is, because most of the fans that are coming were for Clarissa. But sadly for Mary, she doesn't really have that big of a fan base, and she's only defended her IBF title like 3 times, I believe, prior to Clarissa now losing it, as she's the two-time undisputed GOAT of all time, in two different weight class divisions. I don't think that really sells out to the working population that puts their hard-earned money into a pay-per-view. And I think I'm going to have to criticize Solita Promotions, because there's a strong chance that either they thought that this is just going to just be like a walkout coming out party for Clarissa because she hasn't been in the ring for quite a long time. But I think maybe this is why women's boxing needs to have more marketization to make the sport, good again, because the sport of boxing is dying out very quickly, and I think that it's mainly coming from the bad corruption coming from the men, that isn't translated into women's as much, but the women, they're not being talked about. They're not being put on ESPN. You don't see really that many women on ESPN talking about their boxing career. You see all the men talking about their boxing career. They have, like, they have everything set up, and they know what's going on with their careers. But for the women, it's like they don't get that because the market is so small. And I understand, for all you Claressa, you know, fans, that you would say, well, she's the greatest of all time, and she's a GOAT, and she deserves to be on TV to make the sport of women's boxing grow, and that's gonna make other women follow. That's true, but one voice isn't gonna be enough compared to other voices in the sport itself need to come out as well too. I'm happy that Franchon Cruz, she's doing her thing, but nobody doesn't know her. She's only on DAZN because Eddie Hearn is giving her, decent opportunities where she could take advantage of it for the time being. But she's not going to be around for that long. Claressa, she'll be around for maybe a little bit longer. But then after that, it's just going to be Katie Taylor. And then who else is next? I don't think there's really anybody else after Claressa Shields. And I think that is the saddened truth about this pay-per-view. Why was it really worth putting that on there when Claressa, she doesn't really have that much markability except for maybe for what her fans do for her, but that's just how I'm seeing it from an economic point of view. You could tell me that I'm wrong, but let me ask you something. What is Claressa doing to maximize that profit for her next fights? Because I guarantee you when those pay-per-view numbers come out, she's going to get flamed to the max of people saying, yo, you made less than 100,000 pay-per-view buys. That's very sad. And the promoters are probably not going to do any business with her on pay-per-view deals. Because now she's probably going to say that she's a pay-per-view star. And every time when she fights, she wants to have all this large, I guess, lion's share of money. But it's like at the end of the day, there's a lot of issues with the marketability behind her brand and her product of what she brings to the ring. And that issue is getting the fans, aka the casuals, to inject that mass popularity growth onto her name. And that's what's not happening. The cutoff is where the masses are more interested of seeing men's boxing compared to women's boxing. But the issue with Claressa is that she does not have that type of marketability that brings her to that elevated level. Because when you compare her to the top guys at 154, Jermell Charlo, he's known. Everybody knows who Jermell Charlo is. And even if Charlo never became champion, people still know who he is because he's that good. And that's why with, I guess, like fighters coming out of the PBC, they have good promotions because they're their own promoter. And I think that's really the bigger cutoff. You don't have enough promoters being their own fighters. You're having promoters controlling the fighters, and the fighters don't have that control to dictate where their fights are going. So that's just my views on that. And I think, for this pay-per-view with Claressa, that's gonna be like the biggest cutoff, from that, I guess, like, economic viewpoint or analysis. All right, let's see. Claressa is only 25 years old. Okay, that's with no promotion. ESPN, Showtime, no one was behind this. Yeah, because Salida Promotions promoted the fight. So, like, what the hell are you talking about? That's not an argument. Matt, at a whole female end, you... what? Milo, what are you talking about? Mad at a whole female end, you live, you... Okay, don't ever talk to me. Get the hell out of here. See you later. All right. Um, I'm getting flamed. Show me, dude. Like I don't understand why you guys are on here. Guess what? To all you haters that don't like me, leave me alone. I never asked you to come onto the channel. I don't need you guys here. I'm just simply stating what I have to say. But let me just get right to it. I don't think Claressa is going to grow from here on out. I think what needs to be done is that more women need to stand behind her and she'll be able to achieve what she needs to get done. But until then, it's really just a dying breed. There's no more women like Christy Martin. You're never gonna see another coal miner daughter. You're not gonna see another Lucia Riker, who could have been known as another mini Mike Tyson. You're not gonna see another Belinda Lair Quente. You're not gonna see another Samia Anani. You're not gonna see another Regina Halmich. You're not gonna see another any of these fighters that are stepping up their names to come up into the higher level echelon fighters to make the brand of women's boxing fresh and competitive. Because ever since those people had left, not enough women had stepped up to replace their position in those divisions to make the sport great again. So I think this is another massive decrease in popularity that the sport has always been struggled or has always been struggling with for quite a long time. I like it's pretty similar with the WNBA. They go through this same process too, but with the lack of marketability on top of advertisements, sponsorships, promotions, everything, that is what's going to downgrade the sport even more and cause a lot of um, economic disparities and a lot of deprived losses, and it's going to cause it's going to result in very little gains at the end of the day. I do respect Claressa. She's a great woman. I would like to meet her one day, but I do respect her for making women's boxing great, but I really do put the blame on the marketization of women's boxing. That's really the main issue, because the fighters do have talent. There are good fighters out there, but it's really due to the poor marketization of the sport not being well known on a global level to inspire girls on the daily to say, hey, get into boxing. There's more money involved, blah blah blah. And remind you, boxing is a very crappy sport when it comes to money. You don't have any insurances backing, any fighters. You don't have any, like retirement plan. It's just basically, here's your contract. People just look at you as like a what contract worker. That's what they, view boxers. And I don't like to see it like that. When you go for your career and your like in your desired profession, you have those benefits available to you if the job is good enough for you. So I think for a job like boxing, like if you if you care about the sport, that needs to be included. Why not? I would like to see that. I would like to see those type of mutual aid organizations to come together and actually support fighters at that level. And there should be fight leagues invented, and massive tournaments being held at the highest level to have every fighter around the world to give it their all and test their skills to the highest level. And I think that is what will make boxing for both genders grow, and that will inspire other sports to do the same as well, because as the competition increases, then the incentives and the popularity will go up to satisfy consumer needs or consumer demands. So I think that is where the biggest issue lies for women's boxing, and I think Claressa, she knows that. But as far as this pay-per-view fight being a thing, I don't think this is a good idea. I think it really needs to give it some time, and then like honestly, like if it wasn't Mary DeCare and let's just say it was Savannah Marshall, that could be a decent pay per view fight. And let's just say if it breaks like off like 200,000 to maybe close to 300,000 buys, that would be pretty good. I wouldn't mind that. But this is pretty much the same argument with Canelo fighting Bums. Like when he fought Caleb Smith, no pay per view numbers have been posted about that fight. And I guarantee you, when they do come out, it's going to be less than at least 100,000, if not very little, probably breaking even to at least 140 to 150K. So if Clarissa could hit that number, that's not good, but it's decent for the women to be, yeah, to be recognized on that pay per view status. Because back in the old days, watching, the Chrissy Martins and the Mia St. Johns and those type of fighters, like I don't think pay per view was really, going around like that, because it was still that hard to even get those type of fights, especially on ESPN or maybe Showtime at the time, or even HBO. But now it's like you have the internet being a lot more well advanced, and social media is promoting fighters a lot better through the internet. I would assume that would be a better improvement, but on the women's end for women's boxing, it's still like a struggling business. So I think that's what's needed to be reformed, and hopefully that can grow faster for where it's placed at right now. But overall, the fight was decent. Clarissa, she was trying to knock out Mary, and Mary kept holding the whole time, and it just didn't even look like a fight no more. It kind of just looked like a hit and a run type of fight. Like Clarissa, she was pounding on Mary, and then Mary, she just kind of looked like she didn't even know what she was doing, and she was being extremely careless on picking her shots, and she got cut off by Clarissa's check hooks, and her jab was beautiful. Clarissa, she dominated that. Amazing footwork. She is so good on the footwork. If you watch her fight, she's very slick, and she has such a good awkward ish style that makes you get out thought by her. I say that in the weirdest manner, but she's very slick, and she's very unpredictable, and that's what I like about her, because her drive is so prestigious and very determined to make you get frustrated and pressure you. And that is what she did to Mary, that really made a huge success for her to dominate her in spectacular fashion. I basically had it 10-0 all for Clarissa. She basically pulled off like another Floyd like experience. She did get a little bit frustrated herself when Mary kept holding and then making the fight look a little bit awkward, where she was trying to push Clarissa in the clinch, and that was absolutely uncalled for. I think Mary, she basically just gave up with trying to fight. She was just more like in there to survive type of fighter. Clarissa, she managed to just put out a boxing clinic, and she did her thing, man. Where she goes from here, I guess maybe Savannah Marshall could be next. That would be the best, fight to settle their score, and then after that, do the MMA. I actually forgot about bringing that up too. If she can get MMA going, and she could have her following with MMA to translate to boxing, that will also help out the sport of women's boxing, and on top of that with MMA too. So I think it's like a growing process. As far as just like this pay per view, I just didn't really like the idea of it, because it's like the sport of women's boxing is just not in a good spot economically. So I just don't think, from like if I'm a promoter and I'm looking at this type of fight, and that fighter tells me that she wants pay per view, or that promoter is going to just follow on with that, and I know that she's not really at that level to bring a mass lion share of fans to buy the pay per view. Do I still go with that, demand, or do I keep it held off until there's like a good fight where it's going to bring both sides of either fighters with their fans to put more money into that pot? So I would probably pull away from that and find like a better higher selling fight for that type of I guess like situation. But either way, Clarissa, she did her thing. I wish nothing but but the best for her. She's a great, prestigious woman. I think overall her career and legacy has been solidified. She can easily retire from boxing right now, and she'll go down as one of the greatest pound for pound greats. She is a very hardworking woman. She's been through a lot, been through a lot of struggles, and I really do like those type of fighters that really bring the best out of them, where they have a lot to lose, but they have a lot to gain from it. And as much as that the whole world is just against Clarissa, and she has a lot of pressure on her, it's a good accomplishment on her behalf to prove her haters wrong and doubters as well. And no, like very little critics can really come after her for her achieving success and greatness. So that's what I like out of Clarissa. My hat's or like my hat goes off to her, and I wish her nothing but great achievements in the future. So shout out to Miss Queen Clarissa T Rex Shields, the quote. I'm gonna sign off. I'm getting tired. So thank you guys for watching. More content coming soon. Bye.